Welcome to the Empowerment Hour, a podcast dedicated to the woman ready to take charge of her life, live in her purpose, and be unapologetically authentic. I am your host, Nancy Ruffin, award-winning author, mommypreneur, and the self-proclaimed Latina Oprah who is dedicated to helping women unleash their power, discover their purpose, and live up to their fullest potential. My goal is to empower you, inspire you, and help you unlock your passions and discover your purpose so that you live the most fulfilled and impassioned life. If you're ready to make a change and start living on purpose, then you're in the right place. Let's get started. Welcome back to another week of the Empowerment Hour podcast. I am your girl and your host, Nancy Ruffin, and I really just want to thank you guys for rocking with me for another week. Thank you for all of the feedback that you give me on my posts and my DMs. I really do this for you guys to help you on your own path of self-discovery, to keep you focused on your own dreams and goals. And a lot of the work that I do really centers on helping women specifically find that thing that drives them, that moves them, that fuels them, and develop the confidence to just go for it. And for that reason, this week, I really wanted to talk a little bit about, first of all, the Vision Board Bootcamp that I have coming up in September. And I really wanted to talk about the importance of goal setting, also creating a really compelling why statement, staying focused, and how to get back on track when you fall off, right? These are all things that we really need to start thinking about, especially as we journey on into whatever endeavors move us. And I think that particularly this period in time, I see a lot of people, women, men, even, young people taking a lot of initiative and really embracing what it means to be an entrepreneur, right? I think that the old careers that required us to work 8 to 4, 9 to 5 are not as appealing to many of us now, especially because we're starting to realize the power and the potential that we each have to really make these dreams of ours come true. It's almost like we're starting to believe that it is possible to dream our wildest dreams and to really have these big visions, and we see it. There's tons of vision board workshops out there. We see tons of motivational speakers, life coaches, empowerment specialists. A lot of the work that I do centers around that, and that's become such a huge movement and business. And clearly there's a market for that because there's so many of us that are able to work and generate income from these services that we provide. The mere fact that I have this podcast and you all are listening to it, it's a testament to what you're seeking out, right? There is a market where people are actively trying to engage and trying to get as much information as possible as it relates to being an entrepreneur and developing the confidence that's necessary to really take those risks and take a chance on ourselves and believe that, yeah, I can absolutely do this. And particularly, I'm having this Vision Board Bootcamp because I do have an annual Vision Board workshop every year at the beginning of the year in January. And traditionally what I do is I have an end of year kind of recap in December to see how many of us were really able to accomplish all that we set out to put on our vision board in the January event. But what I've noticed is that sometime in the middle of the year, for whatever reason, some of us kind of tend to slack off. Some of us tend to forget what those goals were in the beginning of the year, or we just simply allow other things to become a priority, because it's life. Things happen that are beyond our control sometimes. Things happen that we don't expect to happen, right? When we're setting these goals out for ourselves in January, oftentimes we're not taking into consideration the many things that can happen throughout the year that may throw us off of our game. So in an effort to help people get back on track, I decided to have a mid-year vision board boot camp. And although September really isn't mid-year, right? It's kind of the last quarter of the year. Because of everything else I was doing, I really wasn't able to schedule it for June. But I still wanted to give people an opportunity to at least tackle one or two of their goals that they can complete within a 90-day period. So the purpose of the event is really to kind of get down to the nitty gritty, get our hands dirty, and I will be teaching you guys strategies to help you get back on track, to help you get focused. We will also be creating a 90-day plan to achieve that goal or goals. And we're also going to be setting up accountability, right? Because a lot of times when we're accountable to or when we have someone to hold us accountable, we tend to stick to those goals a little bit more. So I'm really, really super excited about the Vision Board Bootcamp. We are I think where the last time I checked, we were 65% sold on our tickets. And it's only been a week since I put the event out there. So that in itself really shows me that there's a need for this. People want it. They really want to get focused, and so that's what I'm here for, to help you guys kind of reel yourselves back in so that come December, we can say, yeah, I had these goals and I was able to accomplish them. We want to take what we put on our vision board, we want to turn those pictures into something real, into something tangible, right? Because a vision board is a tool. It's not going to miraculously create these things for ourselves unless we put in the work. And so what I found is that a lot of times we set goals for ourselves and we don't really understand, or we haven't created a compelling why statement. You know what I mean? It's like we say we want to do things and we know what we want to do. Sometimes we even know how we're going to do it, but we don't know why we're doing it. And being able to have a compelling why statement really helps to keep us focused during those times when we may not feel motivated, during those times where we may encounter obstacles or struggles, or when life happens and things that we didn't expect happen, and then it's easier for us to give up on our goals and deal with whatever the pressing matter at the time is. However, when you have a clear why, when you understand the purpose and the reason that you're doing something, that helps to kind of reel you back in. Because the reality is, inspiration in itself is never enough to keep us going when things get hard or when we lose momentum and feel like giving up. We have to have something that's going to motivate us. It's something that's going to push us past those difficulties and those obstacles when they arrive. Because if I can tell you anything, if one thing that I know for sure, the way Oprah likes to say, is that success does not come without struggle. Success does not come without difficulties. And in fact, the closer you get to achieving your goal, the more obstacles you're going to get presented with. And so, you have to understand that anybody can start, right? Anyone can write down goals. Anyone can create a vision board, but not everyone is going to finish what they set out to do. The most successful people have succeeded because they were clear on their why. So whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a small business owner, or just someone who is committed to achieving success and achieving your goals, making sure you're clear on your why is what's going to keep pushing you to the end, to the end goal. And, there was this German philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, who says, and I want to quote him correctly because I have my own paraphrase of what he says. But he says, he who has a why can endure any how. And so for me, when I paraphrase that, when I kind of put it in my own words, is like when you know your why, anything is possible. When you know your why, any obstacle that presents itself, you're going to push past, right? So when you know your why, you can endure anyhow. So the how almost becomes irrelevant when you know why you're doing something, when you know what's driving you. And so I guess how do we write a why statement, right? And really what your why statement is, it's a sentence, and it clearly expresses what your unique contribution and impact is. And so your why, while it can initially be something small and very personal, really great why statements and really compelling why statements push past ourselves and into a greater purpose and into something bigger. And so when we talk about impact, the impact reflects the difference that you want to make in the world, and the contribution is the primary action that you're taking towards making your impact. So together, contribution and impact provide a filter through which you can make decisions every day to act with purpose. So I'm going to share with you my why statement. And your why, the easiest way to create a why statement is just start with 2, which is your contribution, and then it ends with so that, and that's your impact. So for example, my why statement is to help women unleash their inner power so that they create a life where they feel fulfilled, inspired, and empowered. And so that statement it evolved because initially when I started doing the work that I do, it was inspired by the birth of my daughter. And when she was born, she absolutely transformed the way that I viewed the world around me. And I really started to think about what I wanted my legacy to be. What was it that I wanted to leave behind for my daughter? And what things did I want to teach her about being a woman, about being someone who makes a difference in this world? And for me, I felt that the only way I can teach her about the type of person I wanted her to be was by being that example. So for me, it's important for me that my children grow up to be confident women, that they're strong, that they have a positive self-esteem, that they always know that they're beautiful, that they're powerful, that there's nothing they cannot do. I want them to be inspired. I want them to be empowered. I want them to be kind. I want them to not be afraid to speak up for themselves or for others. I don't want them to be afraid to take action when they see injustices, happening around them and in the world. And so I said, the only way I can teach this to them is by being that type of person. And so that is how my why evolved from something small and personal into this bigger thing that really is it, that it's really contributing to the greater world, right? So instead of it becoming something for just my daughters, it has now become something for all women. I want all women to unleash their inner power. I want all women to create lives where they feel empowered, fulfilled, and inspired. And so this is what drives my work. And so when I'm exhausted, when I don't feel like writing that blog post, on the days when I don't feel like recording my podcast, or or when things get in the way, when life happens, I remember what my why is, and it gives me the push that I need to kind of get over that hump, get over whatever obstacle, or even get out of my own head. Because sometimes we can talk ourselves out of the things that we want to do. We make excuses. We're human, we're not robots. We get tired. And so we need the time to rest. And so we also have to kind of know when it's time to rest, but we also have to understand when it's time to kind of push through, right? I mean, I talk a lot about self-care, and I don't want you to deny yourself necessary time that you need to recuperate or rejuvenate yourself. But when you start making excuses and it becomes something that is happening regularly, then that's when you have to kind of remember what your why is. And I really wanted to talk about this today because I think I've posted twice about it this week. This morning I had a girlfriend reach out to me because I guess she was feeling a little bit down because she wants to pursue a different career path. And for whatever reason, she hasn't taken the steps yet to get her there, and during our conversation, what she mentioned was that she wants to be able to give her son everything that he wants. She wants to be able to live, I guess, a life that allows her a little bit more freedom to be there, and that where she can still provide all of the things that he wants and that he needs. And I think she probably feels like in her current situation, in her current job, it doesn't allow for that. And so what I told her was, I said, you need to write down what your why is, what your motivation is, and have that and paste it somewhere that's going to be in your view, somewhere that you can see it constantly, so that that can be the push that she needs to get her started, on this other career path that she wants to take. Because really all it is deciding to take action and then actually doing it. But taking that first step is just so hard for many of us. And that's kind of why I'm also doing the vision board workshop, because I really want to help people get back on track. It's so easy for us to lose focus, but there comes a time where we have to really hold ourselves accountable for the things we say we want, right? Things don't just happen. You have to go out there and make it happen. And there has to come a point where you ask yourself, well, how bad do I want this? And what am I willing to sacrifice to get this? Am I pushing myself hard enough? Am I really going all in for this like I say that I am? And that requires us to really be honest with ourselves. And I can tell you that I can probably myself be pushing a little bit harder for what I want. And that's one of the things that I'm working towards. But I'm honest with myself, right? And in order to get better, in order to improve, and in order to really make progress, we have to see ourselves as we really are right now. Not who we were yesterday and not who we want to be tomorrow. Who are we today, and what do we need to work on within ourselves so that we can be operating at our optimal potential? So when we're talking about our life's purpose, when we're talking about our why, we have to really be clear on what is motivating us. Because I think that sometimes we tell ourselves we want to do things because we want to make more money. We want financial freedom. And I think that to an extent that is true because there's a certain peace of mind that comes with not having to worry about money. But we all know someone, or we've seen someone or heard someone who on the outside, right, on the outside appears to have it all. They can be rich, they can be wealthy, they can have a beautiful home, they can drive the fancy car, they can have the expensive bags and shoes, right? And they can still have all that and not be happy and not be fulfilled. And so most of the time, money really isn't what's going to make us happy, right? Money isn't going to be enough to fulfill that thing that drives us. So that's why a lot of times, career counselors, ask, if money were no object, what would you do? Right? So if you didn't have to worry about your bills getting paid, if you didn't have to worry about expenses or anything that has to do with money, what is that thing that you would do if you didn't have to worry about money? And that's how you start to dig in to what you're passionate about, into what your purpose is, because it's going to be that thing that you love, that thing that fuels you, the thing that drives you. It's the thing that's going to keep you motivated. And it's that thing that you would do anyway, even if you didn't get paid for it. But the beauty of that is that there is always a way to make a living and earn money doing what we love. We just have to want it hard enough, and we have to be creative in how we're thinking about achieving that goal, or how we're going to implement that into our lives so that we can make a living from it, right? Like right now, the things that I do, my workshops and my brunches and, the online courses that I offer and my books, even all of that collectively is not enough at this moment to that for me to live off of in the way that I'm accustomed to. And I don't want, at this point, I can't sacrifice that because of my children. I think that when we're younger and when we don't have as many responsibilities, it's easier for us to take risks, right? When it's only ourselves. But as you get older and as you have more responsibilities, you have to be a little bit more strategic about how you're going about to achieve your goals. And so for me, while the end goal is still the same, I just can't say I'm going to quit my job tomorrow so I can go all in on my dream and my passion and then hope and pray, that I'm able to make, 6 figures, 7 figures doing what I love. Ultimately, that's what I want to do. But at this moment, I can't afford to quit my day job to pursue this because of the responsibilities that I have. And I think that that's also where some people might get stuck, where they feel like they have to just devote 24 hours a day to their dream to be successful. And that can work for other people, for some people, depending on their circumstances. That's why it's really important, guys, to understand your own circumstances, to understand what you can and cannot sacrifice, or what you're willing to sacrifice, and how that's going to impact not only your life, but those who depend on you, right? I talk a lot about, being selfish and doing things for yourself, but there has to be a balance, especially for me, I'm married, I have children, and when me and my husband first got together, none of the stuff that I'm doing was part of the plan, and it wasn't what he signed up for. So I can't just say to my husband tomorrow, honey, I'm going to quit my job, and now all of the financial responsibilities are going to fall on you because I want to go over here and pursue my dream. It's just not fair to him, to put all that pressure on him. So, we've compromised. And so, yeah, I still work my day job, but then when I'm home and when my children are asleep and on the weekends, I'm actively working on my dream. and I understand my why, and I know exactly what it is that I have to do to push forward. So if you're struggling with understanding what that why statement is for you, if you created a vision board and for whatever reason have fallen off course with accomplishing your goals, if you want to get back on track and you want to know strategies on how to really get back on track, how to stay focused, and how to, and just really want to end the year up strong, I encourage you to sign up, buy yourself a ticket for my Vision Board Bootcamp. The tickets are $25. That's probably less than what you spend on a mani and pedi every week. And I promise you that the return on that investment is going to be so worth it for you, because these are strategies that you're going to be able to use not only now, but moving forward, right? I'm going to teach you little tricks on how to get started when you don't feel like doing the work. Like I said, we're going to create an accountability plan. And I'm really here, to help you get to that place where you've envisioned for yourself. That's my goal. So if you're interested, go check out the Eventbrite link. It's www.vbbootcamp.eventbrite.com. I've been posting the link directly in my Insta story. You can catch it on my Instagram post. You can find it on Facebook. And if you need the direct link, just DM me and I will send you the direct link. But guys, I am here for you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you. So if you have any questions that you want me to answer, if there are any other topics that you want me to talk about, if there's anything about my own life that you want to know about how I managed to juggle it all and still be happy and fulfilled and have fun, reach out, put it out there. It's what I'm here for. The content that I create is for you all. So don't be shy. And again, thank you for rocking with me for another week. I hope that this episode was helpful for you. And if you need help on that why statement, we're going to get into that in the Vision Board Bootcamp. All right. And if you don't have your why statement, I suggest you start working on it. All right. So until next time, go out there, stay focused, and crush some goals.